Do you need to train your abs every single day just to look good with your shirt off, just to have six-pack abs? Short answer is absolutely not. It is just like any other muscle group, right? You should be focusing on training it maybe a few times a week, progressive overload, and we could talk about specifics on how to do that here later on in the episode. But I will say this. I personally train my abs every single day. Okay, so do you need to? Absolutely not. Personally, I do. And I also want to share why I train my abs and do a few other things every single day and how it kind of helps me out in the long run of things. Not necessarily just so I look good with my shirt off and have six-pack abs, but in my opinion, more important things than that. So if you guys are tuning in for the very first time, right? Let's say you don't know anything about who I am, Coach Joe, Heartletics, how we literally have helped out thousands of guys burn body fats, hundreds of guys get off their blood pressure and cholesterol medications, and dozens of guys even reversing their type 2 diabetes by lowering their A1C levels. Well, hey, welcome. Whether you're listening to this on, iTunes or Spotify, or you're tuning in for, YouTube and watching this, hey, while you're here, definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm constantly posting new videos to the YouTube channel every single day. But with further ado, let's dive into abdominals, okay? Your abs are just like any other muscle group, all right? Obviously, training your core is very important. You need that. It's going to help you out with not having such a bad back. It's going to help you out with also just, most importantly, just being active, being physically fit, right? You don't want to be that guy that's training every single muscle group and never training their abs. Now, I'm sure you're going to get, that section of the crowd that's going to say, but Joe, when you do your squats, when you do your deadlifts, you're training your core that way. You're training your abs that way. Yeah, there is some truth to that, but still, might as well, like, if you think about it, if you're doing, let's say, a bench press, right? You're technically training your triceps as well as you push, right? It's not just your chest, it's your shoulders, it's your chest, and it's also your triceps. So you don't need to do anything of tricep extensions, but yet people still do. So hear me out. I think it's very important to train your core still, even if you're doing these compound exercises, okay? When it comes down to training your core, here in my opinion is probably like the best exercises to do to really help you out with not just aesthetics, but most importantly, something that you can progress with, okay? My top 3 abdominal exercises, all right, I'll break them down in order just like this. Number 1 is weighted crunches, okay? You can do this with just a cable pulley system at the gym, have either, a handlebar, or you can have, just the rope itself. And then you basically want to make sure that you're getting all the way up with that extension and then coming down and tucking in, breathing all the way down, all the way out, and trying to really crunch as you go down. I love this exercise. I love it. I love it. I love it because I'm somebody that has a bad back. It only targets my core, but at the same time, just like any muscle to improve on and to grow, you should be focusing on progressive overload. Well, hey, it's literally weighted rope crunches. It's just, hey, you put that weight into another notch, right? You can progress with it. Very simple, okay? The second one that I like to do is hanging knee tucks or hanging leg raises. These are extremely tough, but once again, the reason why I like doing it is because any kind of hanging motion that you're doing, it's actually that nice stretch going all the way deep down through your back. And once again, I'm somebody that I don't necessarily have the best, strongest back. I've threw out my back multiple times before in the past, yet I continue to do that always. So it's just like, I like to play it safe. And with this abdominal exercise, a hanging knee tuck or a hanging leg raise, I can, one, feel it in my core. And if I want, I can either focus on doing more reps than normal if you want to focus on progression, or I can take a medicine ball or a dumbbell, put it in between my knees or my legs, and use that in a way of progressive overload with increasing more weight, So it's a great exercise. And plus, like I said, I'm biased because I got a bad back, so I like that stretching, that hanging motion that you're doing when doing that ab exercise. And then the third thing that I like to do is just using an ab mat. Now, you can do this at home. You don't need to go to the gym at all. And in fact, the ab mat is, in my opinion, one of the safest things to use, especially if you're somebody that has a bad back. You can buy this on Amazon. It ranges from $10 all the way up to, let's say, $15, $20. very, very convenient. That's all I have to say. If you're somebody that's looking for more support when doing it, just put your feet underneath the couch, use that ab mats, and just start crunching away. You can either try to go up as far as you can or just go up to wherever it's comfortable for you. There's not necessarily a right way or a wrong way when using the ab mat, but I will say this, however you're using it, it definitely trains your core. And of all the things I've done throughout the years, using an ab mat has helped me out tremendously with not just aesthetics, but specifically dialing in to those muscle fibers in your abdominals. And I kid you not, I'm biased. It is a great exercise to do if you're somebody that's trying to train your core, you know. But do you need to train your core? Do you need to train your abs every single day? Once again, absolutely not. And here's the thing, right? There's millions of different ab exercises out there. You can use an ab roller. You can use, a dumbbell and do some Russian twist, planks for stability, right? I'm just giving you guys some recommendations on what I personally like to do, when it comes to at the gym and also using the ab mat at home. Now, why do I specifically train my abs every single day? It has nothing to do with training my core, so to speak. It has nothing to do with looking good with my shirt off. It has everything to do with discipline. The Heartletics podcast, I made a commitment to myself when I turned 30 and I said, hey, no ifs, ands, or buts. Monday through Friday, I'm going to record a new podcast episode until I'm 31 years old. So an entire year. And that's, think about it, right? 52 weeks out of the year, multiplied by 5. We got a lot of podcast episodes. That's all I got to say. And so it has everything to do with discipline for me. I'm a big believer in, how you do anything is how you do everything. When you do something one way, right, that's how you do things all else ways. So it's just like, if I'm going to say something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show up. And holding a promise to myself is one, physically, right? I want to just say it like that. Doing something like the ab mat or something like push-ups that I also do. We got this group at Heartletics called Spartans, and this is like the ride or die guys. This is like the guys that I'm going out to war with, right? My battle partners, my battle buddies. And like, I want to make sure we're stepping it up compared to anybody else that's out there on the platform and going above and beyond. And so we do what's called this Spartan Challenge, which is 300 push-ups and 300 sit-ups a day. So if you're wondering, when I say, yeah, I train my abs every single day, you might be thinking, is that just like a few sets of like 10 reps? Like, no, it's actually a lot. Like 300 crunches, 300 push-ups each and every day, that is a lot. But once again, I'm not doing it to look a certain way. I'm not doing it to train my core at all. I'm doing it because of the simple fact that I said I was going to do it. And on the days when I don't feel like doing it, just like on the days when I don't feel like recording a podcast, and there's plenty of times where I'm coughing up blood because I have a sore throat or lost my voice, whatever the case may be, I'm still recording that podcast. I'm still showing up doing it. Same thing with training out my abs. Same thing with doing my daily push-ups. It's a promise. It's a commitment to myself. And I don't want to be that person that is going to give off these false promises of saying, hey, I'm going to do this, but then behind closed doors, I don't actually do that. At the end of the day, like, there's something called integrity. And to me, right, integrity means doing the right things when no one else is looking. And I think just in human nature in all of us, we all kind of, talk the talk, right? But walking the walk is hard to do at times. And I say it like this, anybody can do anything when life is easy. But when life is hard, which it is, life's going to throw you curveballs, some challenges, some adversity. That's typically when most people fall off the wagon, go back to their old ways. And I'm a big believer in like, hey, those are the reps that matter the most. The days where I don't feel like training my core, the days where I don't feel like doing my push-ups or recording a podcast, those are the days where I come on here and I go full, without a doubt, head first into it. Because I know it is going to give such a longevity approach to the greater scheme of things, which is me making a promise and commitment to myself. That's it. So when it comes down to training your core, do you need to, bust out some weighted crunches and hanging leg raises and use an ab mat every single day? Absolutely not, right? You don't need that at all. Once again, focus on progressive overload, just like any muscle group. Train it at least 2 times per week. and you'll be perfectly fine. Now, I do want to end today's episode with just saying this. Don't think, right, you can just do a bunch of crunches, look good with your shirt off, because obviously there's a lot more that goes into it, specifically nutrition here. We always like to say at Heartletics that the workouts are the sprinkles, the icing on the cake. That batter is always going to be the nutrition. So follow through with basically everything that we talk about Heartletics. If you want to look good with your shirt off, have more confidence, have more energy, lose the body fat, potentially get off your medications, and follow through with what's called our 7 essential fat loss habits for success, right? Sticking within a calorie range that best suits your body type to speed up its metabolic rate to lose body fat. Sticking within your macronutrients, specifically just focus on hitting your protein goal, right? Doing some resistance training and making sure you're getting plenty of steps in, right? That NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is very, very, very important when it comes to looking good with your shirt off and burning body fat. And then obviously hydration, stress management, sleep and recovery. There's a whole lot that goes into this, more so than just training out your core each and every day, So hey, if you're somebody that wants to look good with your shirt off, if you're somebody that wants to have more confidence, have more energy also, maybe playing with your kids in the summertime or whatever the case may be, just here's my word of advice for you. When it comes to deciding to do something, just actually do it, Don't just say you're going to do this and stick with it for a few short weeks and then go back to your old ways. And then next month, it's the same old song and dance, right? Because we see that from time to time, right? Guys try to stick with the program or stick with the diet or do this. They'll lose weight initially because that shiny object syndrome, and then eventually regain that weight right back when it's something that doesn't best suit their lifestyle. So that's my 2 cents is, one, do something and stick with it. And if you want something that's going to make it a little bit easier for you to stick with it, do something that best suits your lifestyle. Do something that's sustainable, do something that's enjoyable, and do something that helps you create sustainable habits. That's why at Heartletics, we really focus on coaching and teaching our members and giving them the proper knowledge. Maybe you heard the phrase, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, or teach a man how to fish and feed him for the rest of his life. Well, hey, that's kind of like how our coaching program works, is we want to educate, we want to coach and teach and, give somebody all the tools, the knowledge to learn how to apply it all to their lifestyle so that way they can create those sustainable habits. Because when you have habits in place like that, it's like if you fall off the wagon, it's very easy to get right back on. Think about it like this. Let's say you've drove a car for the past, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? Well, realistically, if you didn't have to drive for the next year, right, 365 days, but somebody handed you after that year the keys to a car, do you think realistically you're going to learn how to, and remember that muscle memory, I should say, put the keys in the ignition, rev up the engine, and start driving? You're going to learn how to stop at the red lights. You're going to learn, right, obviously how to, turn the vehicle and whatnot. It's not like you have to take driver's ed all over again. So when you learn, right, we always say knowledge is power. When you learn and someone teaches you how to do something, you acquire that knowledge, for the rest of your life. Kind of like driving a vehicle, kind of like brushing your teeth or riding a bike. So maybe what you need is somebody to just help you on how to specifically burn body fat for your body type and how to master creating sustainable habits for your lifestyle. And if you're somebody that's in that situation right now and you need some help, you need some guidance, just go over to heartletics.com. There's tons and tons and tons of different free resources for you. We got great videos to watch, educational videos on how to create these sustainable habits, or you can always just schedule a free assessment call and speak with either me or somebody from my team and just figuring out if coaching is a good fit for you. But with that being said, I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.